You're listening to the Beer Craft Beer and Brewing Podcast. Tune in every Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific for a dose of beer and brewing banter with your hosts, Ben, Holm, and Andrew Ziegler.
Hop aboard for some wit and wisdom in the Pacific Northwest, because it's always beer 30 on
The Beer Craft. Hey there, beer enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Beer Craft, your go-to podcast for all things homebrewing. I'm Ben Holm.
No, I'm Andrew Ziegler, and I don't have my notes in front of me right now.
Oh my God, that's why I have two of them. Shit.
Yay! And we're here celebrating the season of fresh starts, sunshine, and crisp, refreshing beers. That's right, we're talking spring beers today.
From classic Maibocks to zesty Saisons, bright wheat beers to hoppy, fruited IPAs. Spring is a prime time for brewers to shake off the winter and get experimental. We're going to break down the best styles to drink and brew, the ingredients that make them shine, and how to time your brews just right for peak seasonal enjoyment.
So whether you're lagering a Kölsch, dialing in a Belgian blonde, I like dialing in the blondes,
I called one once.
getting a little funky with the Berlinerweiss, we've got some tips, tricks, and commercial examples to inspire your next batch.
But before we dive into the mash tun, it's time for our favorite segment.
Oh, you know, the part of the show where we're pop a top and share what's in our glass, because talking about beer is great, but drinking it is even better.
So grab yourself a spring fresh pour kickback, and let's raise a toast to warm weather, great beer, and brewing the season right.
All right.
It's time for Beer 30.
In the craft beer system, the people are served by two but equally important groups: the brewers who make the beer and the bartenders who serve the pints. These are their stories, presented by Northwest Brewers Supply. You're handed a dusty bottle by a brewer with a tale as unique as the brew it holds. You never knew the challenges one man could face packaging his creation on a tailgate of a well-used Mazda pickup. Then you realize what awaits you at the bottom of the bottle is the essence of a man's journey. All started at Northwest Brewers Supply.
I opened the wrong beer.
Oh, you did not?
That's okay, I did. I opened the sour first. So, we're going to wreck our palates with a little sour beer here. Got a Berlinerweiss I picked up today from Terramar Brewing. Fantastic.
Looking real good.
It
That thing is pouring pink.
is pouring pink.
It has a pink head on it.
It's called the Peach Party.
Peach Party.
And it's got peaches.
Are you
that
sure
was
it's
a good
got
one.
peaches in it?
It's also got a little bit of raspberries and strawberries from right here in the valley.
That's where it's getting its color.
That's where it's getting all the color from.
In the famous Skagit Valley.
Yes, we are
Famous for our berries.
We're famous. We got them. We got them all. We grow a
got
lot of
barley.
stuff out here. We got
Potatoes.
every berry you can imagine, all grown right here.
We're going to have to make a potato beer one of these days.
This is a Berlinerweiss, the Peach Party Berlinerweiss from Terramar Brewing. That's pretty. We're gonna take a money shot here real quick.
It's like this. It's like this red hue.
Oh,
it's nice.
gorgeous.
It's not that carbonated,
Oh,
but it is a crowler. But
we're gonna talk about that. There's some things that happen.
Ooh, the framboise, amazing. The aroma, the raspberries.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I sampled it at the brewery today. Got a little bit of
Oh wow,
time
that's
with
great
it.
That's great to have a beer like that. Whoa, makes my eyes pucker.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo.
but it's not so sour that it's not so sour that it's cleaning your teeth.
Not too sour, no.
I mean, it's no more sour than eating raspberry is tart.
Yeah, right.
But it is a sour.
It
It's
is
a
a
kettle
sour.
soured Berlinerweiss. I got to sit down and talk to Greg, the head brewer out there at Terramar.
Right on.
He's been there since the beginning. 2019 when they opened. He came down from Denali Brewing and set up shop at Terramar Brewstillery. He gets to brew on a 15-barrel setup out there, which is pretty cool. The Berlinerweiss they do year-round. They got a couple different profiles they shoot for. Different fruits that are in season. This is the last keg of this beer. So if it's gone in 2 weeks, I do apologize. But they're going to have another one out in April. They've got a raspberry Berlinerweiss coming out. Going to be releasing it next month because now it's March, so I can say that. Fantastic beer.
It is.
I got a little insight with Greg talking about this beer. All the peaches come from Central Washington because they don't grow great out here. There's a few varieties that do, but they're small yields and small fruit and just not as peppy. So it gets these.
Now I know where there's a peach tree that fruits a nice peach over by one of the malting buildings near Chuckanut.
Oh yeah.
You can almost see it from the Chuckanut Brewery.
I don't know if I've ever spotted a peach peach tree.
Peach tree, yeah. Oh, people know about it too because you got to get it. You got to get it when it's right. And I was lucky because I used to do the malt barley transfer there from the trucks. We used to go into we'd put them in big sacks. The big oh god, what are they called?
Super sack.
Super sack, yeah. And so it took time. I'd wait for the trucks and I'd be out there playing with my dogs, and I'm like, hey, look at this tree. I'm like, ooh,
it's peachy.
That's peachy. These are good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I'll go there. If you're there a week late, you're not getting any.
See, low yielding.
Yeah, very low yielding.
Greg says they put 15,
and not much of a secret anymore.
Yeah, you just spilled that bean.
Yeah.
Greg was telling me they put 15 to 18 pounds of peaches per barrel.
Per barrel.
Yeah, he'll spend all day
pitting,
blanching the peaches to get the skins off, and then they'll cut them, get them in half, pull them apart, and take the pits out, and then they freeze them so that. Well, it does a couple things. A, keeps it, gets them ready ahead of time.
Yeah, gets the bacteria.
Not so much bacteria. Some of the pathogens can survive those. We're not. It's not a super chill freezer. It's sub-zero. I mean, they're cold. They're frozen.
Kill most of it.
Yeah, it does a pretty good job, but also busts up the cell walls in that structure, giving them a higher yield when they do, puree it up.
Yep, the
but
juice
18 pounds. 18 pounds times. Let's see,
did he
per
do
barrel.
A 15 barrel? Maybe
15 barrel
10
batch.
barrel? Does
No, he did a 15 barrel batch.
Woo.
Yeah. They have a full-time sour program. So the Berlinerweiss goes all year. The goes all the time. Fantastic sour program.
225 pounds of peaches per batch.
That's a lot of peach. They also had some berries, some Scotty Valley grown raspberries and strawberries. So you get a little strawberry on the back end, raspberry on the nose. But a little hint of strawberry just as you swallow it. Very, very cool. He did say that process takes all day to process those peaches, and I can imagine 225 pounds of peaches sounds a lot like work. The yeast blend they use on this one, it's an Omega Lacto blend. They chose that one because it's a little more dynamic. It's got some other flavors that it does, particularly lemon and stone fruit flavors, so they really like that one. For this beer. This one gotten this one down to like 3.2 to 3.3. It's dry, it's tart, but that fruit gives a nice little balanced fruit sweetness, but nothing too heavy. Just a fantastic beer. Very well balanced. That is the acidity, the fruit, the sour, all really playing well. I need to take another sip.
I know I'm ahead of you. You've been talking, I've been drinking.
That's smart. That's doing it right. I got some cool insights from Greg on this one. They do a pre-acidification step. They use lactic acid, food grade lactic acid, and that brings the pH down to like 4.5.
Yep. They'll do that right after the boil.
Right after the right at the boil before they inoculate. They acidify of it. He also it does a couple of things. One, it's faster, so they only have to hold the beer at 95 degrees for 24 hours for the lactic bacteria to do its job. But so speeds things up.
Are we going to talk about this later?
So this is kind of I've got these notes from that interview.
Right.
We'll talk a little bit.
Some details later?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the style.
I'd like to delve into a little bit of the detail of this, but if we're going to get into it,
maybe we should save some of that. I know we're going to talk about some Berlinerweiss, but
This is really good beer too.
It was great. Big thank you to Greg. He was nice enough to gift us these beers and sit down.
Greg.
Sit down and talk with me. And
from Terramar.
Oh yeah, Greg, you're awesome.
You know how the Royal Tannenbaum beer has eluded you for some time now, and the Beer Craft introduced you to this.
Yeah, sure
well,
did.
The Beer Craft has now introduced me to Terramar Brewing, which I always knew Terramar was down the street a little bit. I mean, you got to kind of go a little bit
It's like
of ways.
16 miles away from here, but it's close.
I didn't know what their offerings were. That's my bad.
I didn't know they had a sour program.
And I didn't know they had pizza. So this is way more of an excuse to get there for some pizza and beer. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, Tuesdays.
I mean, it says it's a great gathering place.
You gotta go there on a Tuesday. They got a great happy hour, like $5 pours.
Yeah.
Deals on pizza.
Tuesdays.
Yeah,
like
all day
that.
Tuesdays. Fantastic.
I wonder what their hours are.
Quick Google search will reveal that information.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a
Good
great
job for
beer.
them.
Fantastic. It was a great afternoon. I drove away from from the brewery, laden with beer, and I thought to myself, man, I got a great job. This is a lot of fun. Can I do this shit full time? That'd be fucking awesome. That would be great. Just go talk to people about beer.
Full-time? Oh, just
yeah,
talking.
I talk about beer full time. So this is great. I love it.
Well, as soon as we can get some sponsors on here, we can mosey on down to these breweries.
Anytime, yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
We'll
do this full time, every day a podcast.
I did bring another beer. I'm gonna fuck that name up because I am not German. Einger's Maibock. So a spring bock, perfect for the season. I have never had this beer. I'm excited to drink that one, and we'll put links on where you can find out about these beers in the show notes today. One of our regular listeners, Pierce Jedi, made mention of that over on the YouTube, and I thought it was a great idea. So we're going to include a link to the beers we're drinking, so you guys can see that too, which would be cool.
Very cool.
What have you been up to, man? It's been a week since I saw you.
Well,
anything cool?
No. I think it rained most of the weekend last weekend.
Yeah.
It was like spurting sunny, and I got out for a little bit, out in the yard and checked around some firewood, and don't have to mow my yard yet. Although today I'm looking out there and I'm like, I can see that grass is growing.
Yeah, we got one warm day.
Yep, that's going to be a chore pretty soon, and it's probably going to be an obstacle for us here soon, unless I get me more soundproofing going on.
As everybody else will be doing the exact same thing.
Be brewing, mowing their lawn at 6:30 at night.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Days get longer. Oh man.
Leaf blowing.
It'll be some new white noise in the studio.
That's right.
That's all that is.
We'll have to get some louder music.
Crank it up. Crank it up.
I already hear the dogs sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I had a pretty good week. We just did the weekend we just did some house cleaning. My in-laws' grandparents are now in memory care, so we're getting ready to sell the property and try to get everything out of it that we can.
Fix it up to get the state worked.
Yeah. So a lot of work. We had to go through. Gosh. They've been in that house for 20 plus years, so you can accumulate a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I might need a bedroom set.
Yeah. Well, it's a small bed.
No, I need a bedroom, like a dresser and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Dresser and
I think a lot of the furniture got claimed.
Yeah.
We moved a new recliner into the house.
Yeah.
So I got a new place to
So what do you
keep
do?
warm.
Do you contact a company that comes and does sales or
liquidate
that
I think
way?
some of it's going to stays at the house for staging, and then after that we'll do a big garage sale or something, and whatever doesn't sell we'll offload some other way.
Yeah.
But that'll be after someone accepts an offer or we accept an offer
on the house.
Yeah. As the sale progresses, so there'll be a little bit late. We'll have enough time before closing to empty the house out there.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of furniture to move around and stuff. Yeah, it kind of wore me out. Actually, I was kind of wrecked for Monday. Monday, I just Well, Monday's a Monday, man. Like,
Are you off on the shops close on Monday, right?
Sundays and Mondays we are,
Yeah.
you know.
So you got the rest.
Yeah, no, I ended up doing. I ended up spending 8 hours working on all the social media for the shop. You know, making sure I got the rest of the month where the content queued and ready.
Right.
So took 8 hours.
Working anyways.
Yeah, work on my day off. Days off. That's a funny word, actually.
Yeah, there's no days off. I think I worked a little bit on each day.
Yeah.
I mean, I just sit down with my coffee and do a little work. It's easy work.
I have coffee. I try to do anything until I have my coffee.
Yeah. Or edit. You know, I was here. I was at here at the desk. You know, doing my stuff here.
Getting stuff done.
Yeah. You know, I went and played Uno with my buddy on Saturday night. Kind of like an Uno party.
Oh yeah.
It was a blast. We played a couple different Uno games. Played.
That was fun.
Played one of the regular Uno games, and then we played this one called Flip, and where you have all your cards, and then like on the other side of the card, it's called the dark side, and then on one side it's kind of normal, and the other side it's the dark side, and they're different colors, different symbols, and at some point you get the flip card, and when anybody puts the flip card down, now everybody has to flip their hand over, and you flip the draw pile over. And it's kind of like a completely new game. So
playing with the dark side visible now.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But you could see everybody else's cards
Until they flip it over.
when they're flipping. Yeah. You're like, okay, that guy's got this, he's got that. It was
That's
really
fun.
fun. And then we played this other one called Uno No Mercy. And that one
Would you put like extra skip cards in there? Like,
well, there's extra skips. There's extra like
draw cards.
Yeah, you could skip everybody on the table. Come back so you can do it again. Make somebody draw 10.
Oh,
make
that's
somebody draw
cold.
6.
That's some cold ass shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get more than 24 cards in your hand, you're automatically done.
you're done.
Yep.
That's
And then my buddy had this. My buddy had this rule to where if you put a draw 2 or draw 4 or draw 6 or draw 10, and it comes to you, and if you have a draw plus, draw something, you can put that down. Now that adds to the draw cards and moves to the next player.
oh, that's cold shit.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, and the next player can add on to that if they have a draw card. And it was amazing. There was enough draw cards that I think that whole thing went around the table once.
Oh,
or a little more than once.
Hate to be the next guy.
Yeah, and the one who didn't have it, I was that guy.
How many did you get to draw?
56, I think.
So immediate you're done.
Yep, you're
game
done.
over for you.
Game over,
Yeah.
done. I just had to draw 2 more. Too many of them. Yep.
Oh, I think that's gonna wrap up Beer 30. We're gonna sip on some beers.
Yeah, we got a Maibok coming up next when we're
We
getting
do.
into our
We
schedule.
do. So nothing hits quite like a fresh spring pour. Whether you've got a crisp Kölsch or a funky Saison, this season's beers are all about balance, brightness, and brewing opportunity.
And we're just getting started here, so after the break, we're going to dig into how to brew these spring classics at home, what ingredients to stock up on, yeast strategies, and even some pro tips to nail those fruity, refreshing flavors.
So don't go anywhere. Top off that glass, stretch your mash stirring arm, and we are going to be back in just a few minutes.
You're listening to The Beer Craft, and trust us, you won't want to miss what's next.
Long before your modern-day home brewer, ancient civilizations used song and prayers to preserve and share their favorite home brewing recipes. Today, they use Northwest Brewers Supply for their knowledgeable staff and economically friendly beer starter kits designed to start and keep you brewing deep, flavorful beer at home. Whether you're an experienced home brewer or looking for a new hobby, Northwest Brewers Supply in Burlington is here to help you start and stay home brewing. Visit them on Facebook or at nwbrewers.com for information on upcoming events and classes.
Welcome back to the Beer Craft. Today we're all about the spring beer scene, and we are going to break down the beers to drink and what to brew for this season.
Yep.
And
including the BJCP.
We're gonna get
numbers?
into kind of what we're gonna get to style descriptions
Good.
for everything.
Commercial examples.
Yep.
Good.
We're gonna go through the whole show. The first one on our list tonight we've got is Maibock.
Maibock.
Yeah, also known as the Hellebuck. This is BJ.
Now, is this like the Maibach car?
Maibock, it means May for the
Means
month of
May,
May.
that's right.
So this is a spring bock.
It's a Bock. It's a
Yep,
lager.
not the hoofed. Not an animal. It's Maibach is the beer, BJCP style 4C. You should be expecting a strong malty golden lager with moderate to high alcohol content, clean fermentation profile, and slightly more hop presence than some of your darker bocks.
Yeah, and your key ingredients are going to be the Pilsner and the Munich malts. You're going to use the noble hops again, the Hallertauer and the Tettnang, and of course the lager yeast.
And if you want to drink one of your very own, recommended commercial examples are I'm gonna fuck that up. Eyinger.
This is what we're going to drink next.
It is Eyinger Maibach.
You'll be able to pronounce it once we drink one.
Yeah, there's two of them that we ought to be able to figure it out by then.
Hofbrau.
Hofbrau Maibach, Einbecker,
Einbecker.
Meyerbach.
Mayorbach.
And if you're,
that's almost like Spanish for mayor. That's like the better Bach.
The better Bach,
Yeah.
probably. So kind of a cool thing with the BJCP when they do these commercial examples that we just talked about, these have been selected because they are kind of the prototypical
They nail the
beer.
style.
Yeah, so if you're out there trying to study for the BJCP tasting exam, or you just want to know more about beer, drinking these examples, reading those style descriptions, is good training to, educate your palate and be able to, spot these sort of beers in the wild if you're doing like a blind tasting or a judging competition. And that's after all what the BJCP is all about. It's the Beer Judge Certification Program.
The blind tasting certification program.
Yeah, blind drunk tasting certification program.
Yeah.
So
After a few hours, that's for real.
oh man, that's a lot of work. So vital statistics for these beers. Let's see. We've got gravity range. Original gravity should be in the 1064 to 1072.
That's pretty good.
Ranges. They're bigger beers.
Yeah.
They're bigger beers.
6.5.
Finishing out 1.011 or 1.018.
Yep,
so
not too bad.
that's pretty dry for a strong finishing beer.
Yep. I've used low 23.25, 35.
23, 35?
25,
Yeah.
23, 35. I mean, that's a pretty decent range.
Yeah, that's kind of like a.
And 35s you're getting.
It's underneath, it's just under pale ale kind
Yeah.
of bitterness profile. ABV should be in that 6.3 to 7.4 range. So
It's a nice
it'll do the job.
It will.
It'll get it done.
And your SRM of 6 through 11.
Yeah, so I'm
Lighter.
expecting a lighter finish on this.
Mm-hmm.
Big takeaways for us homebrewers out there. Often we're going to do an extended lagering process. Not only does that reward our patience, but we end up with a crisper, clean finish.
Yeah.
In this malty, well-balanced beer. I'm excited to drink this one. We're going to pop open the. I'm still working a little bit on this Berlinerweiss, but I'm excited for this.
Yeah, we're lucky the
Eyinger.
Berlinerweiss was a little lower than the Eyinger. You wanted to start with this Maibach first. We'd be slurring our words. Maibach.
Well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. We are going to be
that's gonna
drinking
be
both
by
of
the
them.
end.
Yeah.
That'll be by the end. Now,
You ever done a Maibach?
No, I've never done a Maibach. And when do we brew a Maibach? January, February.
I would probably in the winter time.
Yep. Because we need time to lager it.
Yeah, so it's a Bavarian classic. So, they would have the lagering caves, and they would be doing sort of, the season would be, brewing in the winter, so you have it to drink when it's warmer. And this was sort of a traditional spring
beer.
Welcome to spring. Let's drink a
Right.
Maibach.
Festival.
Yeah,
Spring festival.
I think they've got a spring beer festival in Bavaria. I cannot remember the name of it. I saw it in my notes somewhere.
Yeah, I wonder what people are going to say about our society when they look back and they go, they used to have beer fests all the time.
Right.
Every month.
Seemed like.
Yeah.
Yeah, the festival scene has definitely changed post-COVID. I know a lot of organizations just ran out of money to host those sorts of things.
Right.
They're not free to. They are not cheap to produce. a big festival like that. The remember the big Father's Day fest down at Marymore Park?
Yep.
Yeah, that the Washington beer.
That's Washington Beer Fest or something, right?
It was like a Washington beer organization. I can't remember the acronym for them, but that was the Proside Washington Brewery collective, and they just ran out of money to host that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It gets huge. You have to probably reserve, a huge space.
Oh, and just
advance.
the porta potty bill would have been huge.
Oh my
too.
God.
I mean, that was a 3-day festival. Thousands of people.
I remember
on
when it
Father's
was
Day
at St. Andrew's Church, in Kirkland.
Oh, crazy!
Yeah.
That's because you're old.
Yeah, I know.
Have you ever brewed a Maibock?
Never.
I've not either. It's
Never.
It's been on my list for a bit, and I only ever think about it way too late to have it ready by
In
spring.
May?
To have it ready by spring
Right.
in the spring, yeah.
Maibock, May.
It's around the corner. We're gonna have one. I'm excited to drink that one. We're gonna get to that one in
so
just a
good.
minute. We'll probably pause production once we get to that beer.
ABV
I'm still
on this
drinking
is
this
5.2.
Berlinerweiss. I like that. Yeah, the Berlinerweiss came in at 5.2, and I commented that to Greg. I'm like, well, that's awesome because 3.5 doesn't sound.
Yeah, 3.9.
Yeah,
is
traditionally
usually-
the Berlinerweiss is a lower ABV
Right.
beer. He said, yeah, it's a little bit easier to sell a 5.2% beer than a 3.5.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's hard to get excited about a baby beer like that.
Yep. It's got to taste really super.
And this sure does. Jesus Christ.
We're almost
So
gonna
that's
take. Well, before we get past.
yeah. Do we
where's
pop the top on
where's
it?
The top popper.
We'll top the pop.
I got it. While we're talking about the Maibocks.
Here we
Maibock?
go.
Am I talking about the car or the beer? No, is the beer spelled the same as the car?
I don't know. It's German.
I don't know. Never do about that. Too expensive for me.
Good color.
Golden. Nice, refreshing carbonation level on this. Pretty carbonation.
Yeah, that's crystal clear.
Crystal
Jeez.
clear.
Look at that.
I poured it really easy. I've got about a 1/4-inch white head. You poured it a little bit more vigorously than I did.
I like a good head.
Yeah, you got about a 1/2 inch, and the color is slightly darker.
But still kind of like golden.
Yeah, golden head on there. I should take a picture too, huh? Post it on the interwebs.
One for the archive. That's a good looking beer. Good clarity. Jeez. I can read the label on the back side of the glass. Nice malty nose. Ooh.
Really nice malty.
Well, that's doing things.
Wow, after the Berlinerweiss has got a slightly spicy character. It's
There's
the
a definite-
noble,
yeah.
it's the noble hops.
Definitely, yeah. Maybe they got some tet in there, a little spice character. There's like a honey, little bit of honey
Yep,
sweetness.
Wow.
The bitterness is
little bitterness, little
is
tart.
pronounced and then gets right out of the way. Mm-hmm.
And it like flows to the honey on the forward of your tongue.
Yeah, really like that beer. Would buy again. Picked up the Eyinger Maibach, just released up at Elizabeth Station in Bellingham. Called them up and they had just taken delivery on it. I asked her. I said, "Hey, can you put 2 aside for me?" I was like, "I can, but I'll tell you this: there's no way I'm going to sell it out before you get here."
Okay,
You know,
put 'em aside
and I won't let
just
any.
in
She
case.
says I won't let anybody buy the whole case. I'm like, all right, that's
yeah,
good.
it's 7% beer,
Yeah,
strong beer.
Bocks are
look
typically
at
stronger.
this. Brewed according to the Reinheitsgebot purity law of 1516.
whatever.
Product of Germany.
Whatever.
Alemana.
That does nothing for me.
Alemana.
I might not buy it next time, but no, I'm just kidding. It's a good beer. It's a good beer.
It's German. They've got to adhere to the law. They're a good.
Well, they cheated. They broke their own
Germans.
rules on it 4 years after they wrote it.
Well, I know
they had to make exceptions for wheat.
They should have called it cereal, not barley.
But they didn't. But they didn't. But they didn't.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, like the wheat beer, the wheat beer Hefeweizens came out in 1520, and that was against the rules for Reinheitsgebot, and they said, it's okay, you can do that because we like that beer. Did
the king change his taste a little? Did somebody bring that to the king?
Somebody liked it. Somebody liked it and made it happen.
And the king went, "Hey, this is less of offensive beer a little bit. It's smoother."
So what do you think of that Maibock, Andrew?
Maibock's really good.
How many thumbs are you going to give it?
3 thumbs up. I've got 1 big toe up.
There you go. I'm glad you can't see that, folks. It's frightful.
Right.
Yeah, good beer. Would buy again. Moving right along on our list, the
one of my faves.
Fantastic beers for spring. We've got the Saison. That's BJCP style 25B.
Nice. The style description is a farmhouse ale with a dry finish, high carbonation, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and a complex yeast-driven character with pepper, citrus, and earthy notes.
Oh yeah.
I think those are my favorites.
Yeah, I dig them too.
Citrus, I love citrus. Grew up in Arizona, and one thing I do remember is I had to walk to school.
It's like child abuse.
I know. And I'd walk through the alleys, right? So through the neighborhood, I'd just go through the alleys. It was easier. And people had orange trees growing in their backyards, and they would be growing over the backyard fence. So any day you just come in, grab an orange in the morning, eat it. So
free breakfast.
Yeah, citrus is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of lovely fruity esters and spicy phenols for those yeast.
From the yeast.
From the yeast, yeah.
Yep.
Saison, it means season. It's French for season. So this farmhouse style, they talk about that, is, they're brewing with what's in season. Yeah. Whether it's the grain that's, come up, from wheat to barley to, rye. Right. They'll brew with it. I think the style category alone, you've got a large range of color choices and alcohol levels. You've got
little flavors.
Yeah. Like
farmhouse flavors are hard to really nail down.
So key ingredients on these, you're going to be looking for Pilsner malts, wheat. You're going to be into the noble hops, those and spicy, spice forward ones, the Styrian Golding, Saaz, Hallertauer Tet, and a Belgian or French Saison yeast. That's going to, it is definitely a yeast-driven style of beer. Most of the Saison strains, it's interesting, most of the Saison strains are what is known as a diastatic variant yeast. So there's a gene that's turned on and allows Saison yeast to consume dextrins. The same dextrins that most beers leave alone that gives you body and some sweet flavors. The Belgian or French Saison strains will continue to eat those, much like a Brettanomyces will. It'll eat them.
So they're going to dry it out.
Yeah. So if you see a bottled commercial Saison, it's usually been pasteurized, so it doesn't blow up later.
Yeah.
Right. If you're shipping it globally and you can't monitor it, you're going to take care of those beers. Very interesting. There's a couple of hybrid strains of yeast that are non-diastatic variants. But usually you'll see that on the label when you're buying that yeast. It's like, diastatic variants, watch out, drink it quicker than you normally would. It's kind of a cool deal. Speaking of those commercial examples, you're gonna want to keep an eye out on your favorite beer store for a Saison Dupont or Boulevard Tank 7, Brasserie Fantôme Saison. All of these, especially that Saison Dupont. The Saison Dupont, like that is probably the gold standard. Like, you want to understand a Saison, drink that beer. You'll get it. Fantastic beer. So get one.
Get one. There's
Elizabeth
a lot.
Station will
There's
have
a lot
that.
out there.
Yeah.
If you see a Saison, grab it, try it. Why not?
Do.
And there's a lot of different things they do with the Saisons.
Yeah.
We've talked about a few of them.
I love Saisons, man. They're so great.
Yeah.
BJCP vital statistics for the Saison style. We've got original gravity is a 1048 to 1065, so that's a pretty big range.
Medium. That's a medium.
Final gravity is
beer right there.
But final gravity is looking at 1.002.
That attenuates out.
Yeah, it does.
That's that yeast, like you're saying.
They're crispy boys. IBUs 20 to 35. Not
here we get
not
low,
a ton.
Low. I know how yo.
Yeah, ABVs. What do you got for ABVs on that?
We got 5 to 7. That's low.
But it's that's a 2% range. That'll do.
ABV, yeah.
ABV. Yeah.
I think IBU.
I said ABV.
Yeah,
right?
you did. Yeah, 5 to 7.
I checked the playback. SRM, the color of this beer, you're going to be 5 to 14. So that is, you've got some latitude on there. You can have this, from blonde all the way up into, 14 SRM. That's going to, that's in
a little less than amber.
Dark. Yeah, a little less than dark orange.
Dark
Colors.
orange. I don't see too many examples of the darker saisons.
There's less, it's not the most popular style, so there's less market space given over to it.
And I think there's a visual perception also.
And I think some of it's like, saison, it's got a funk, kind of a funky ester profile.
Probably
sometimes.
light looking.
Yeah, I know a lot of brewers who are like scared of esters. They've got one banana bomb beer. That shouldn't have been, that wasn't a Hefeweizen, and now they're kind of perpetually scared of esters and phenols, right? Because it can go, it can go strange. So takeaways for this. The reason this beer comes up on the list today is probably, as we're transitioning from colder weather to warmer weather, our temperature is all over the place. So saison strains are perfectly comfortable up to like 75 degrees. We don't have to worry too much about fermentation, so that makes it easy to brew with the,
got the phenols
temperatures,
and the esters from the yeast that we want in there.
Yeah, these beers are also on the list because they're fantastic for experimenting with fruit or spice, or some of the various yeast strains. I mean, I love Wyeast French Saison. One of my favorite strains. Like if I could pick 5, it's on the list for sure. But you could throw anything at it.
I think I've only made one saison, and it was a really weird one. It was for chef, like a chef. What do you call it? The chef show where you get your ingredients.
Oh, Iron Chef. Yeah,
it was an Iron Chef, Iron Brew. It was Iron Brew we did on Twitter.
Oh, for the mashers. Yeah,
it was on Twitter. And I joined, it was on there, and then we sent our beers in, and they had a whole review and all that. But it was like, hey, you got to use this. It was barrel aged. I had to throw in some wood chips, and and plum. I liked it. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was a one of a kind deal.
Those are fun little competitions.
Yeah, but that's the only time.
Got to put your thinking cap on and come up with a recipe that.
I didn't win that year.
Yeah.
Or that session.
Can't win them all. Not even me.
I can get second place for them all though.
That's pretty good too. First to the losers.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm always the first.
We've got a saison kit at the shop, the Valley Saison, and we've done some variations on that theme. Same base, but we've added rye malt into it, and we've added citrus peel. So we're supporting the citrus character of the yeast and the spicy, peppery kind of phenolics from the yeast. So turning all the volumes up to that to 11 on that. Fantastic beer, but you could go nuts on fruit additions for that beer. It's going to be such a dry finishing.
Now
it can carry a lot of flavor profile.
I'm looking at this, the Belgian and the French yeast.
Yeah.
Right. Now.
Well, they share a border.
Okay.
And
what's going to be the difference between, say, a Belgian saison or a French saison?
That one I don't have a direct answer for you. I think, I played with some Belgian saison strains and I played with the French saison, and I like them all. My preference was for the 3711 from Wyeast, the French saison. I've made so many fantastic beers with it. Some of the other ones can be a little funkier.
Yeah.
Which is good. But may not have been, the French saison, man. It's like I'll try other yeast, but I just keep going back to that one. It's kind of like Wilma Flintstone and
good
Betty
flavor.
Rebel. Like you'd go out with Betty, but you'd be thinking about Wilma.
All right.
Yeah.
You redheads.
Kryptonite, man. Redhead is a kryptonite. I have a redheaded wife. I don't think I'd need another one. That sounds like a bad idea. That sounds scary.
2 redheads?
That's a terrible idea.
Whoa. Twins?
That'll get you killed.
Twin redheads. Wow.
Sorry, I'm back now. What?
Okay, so I was wondering, can we cold condition our saison?
We'll see why not. If you can if you're managing for that diastatic variant, that would be the only cold temperatures could help with that. Making sure it doesn't keep it really cold so it doesn't keep fermenting. That might be cool. It'll improve clarity.
It's kind of lager it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure someone's done it.
Yep.
Just by happenstance, I had to keep it cold.
Now, Garden Path up here. You wouldn't consider their yeast a saison yeast. I guess it would be, because if it's called saison, the season, the whatever.
It
the
is
fauna
it's a unique strain.
The flora of the season.
Unique to Skagit Valley. They were able to isolate it and identify it as a unique strain. I don't have a lot of data on that because they're keeping that one to themselves. It gets grown up and propagated for them,
right,
but it's not available outside of the brewery.
It's available everywhere here.
Well, you just got to go through all the work of harvesting it and isolating it and propping it up.
Yep. Harvest it and
you could
isolate it and grow it.
And
isolate it and grow it.
It tastes more like a saison strain.
That's
some of
why
those
they
beers,
came here.
yeah.
That's why
They wanted to find a unique strain in Skagit Valley, and I remember meeting them when they were still traveling back and forth.
Well, they came to
from
our
Jester King
They came
and,
to our brew club.
Yep, yeah, fantastic, neat idea. I'm super happy that they're still still in operation.
Well, we had one of their beers.
Yeah, we had their hopped saison.
Yeah,
that was a pretty tasty beer. That was really good. So that's going to wrap up the saison style. You should definitely include those in your spring lineup. At the shop, we are featuring that the Valley Saison. It is on sale by the time you guys hear this. That beer recipe kit is 25% off. Got a couple different yeast choices for you on that one, from dry and liquid strains. So
dry yeast.
Yeah, there's
nice.
some dry. I've got a dry farmhouse saison. It's a non-diastatic variant.
Okay.
So it's a hybrid, so we wouldn't have to worry about that one. It's pretty tasty. Got a couple of people who've used that one and rebrewed with it now, and they seem to like it. So we got that one on sale for you guys from Northwest Brewer Supply.
Very good.
Next up on the list, and we were talking about ester profiles.
1520.
Sorry, 1520. Oh yeah, from 1520. Yeah, all the way from 1520.
All the way from 1520,
Hefeweizens.
folks.
That's a Bavarian wheat beer allowed in 1520, even though Ryan Hetzkowitz said, no, you can't do that.
The direct thumb in the
Yeah.
air.
Hefeweizen, so...
Your law means nothing.
It doesn't. Hefeweizen are wheat beers,
Weizen.
so you are going to expect a lot of wheat in this one. Probably about 50% wheat.
They usually say 50, a little bit more, maybe.
You can, you can
get away with a little more.
Sure can. You can do what you want. You're a home brewer. You can do what you want. Traditional German wheat with a cloudy appearance. The yeast strains for these, they don't flocculate well.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a classic, for bottle conditioned Hefeweizens. When you're pouring those into a glass, you're going to pour about a quarter of the beer out into your glass, and then you're going to swirl it up to kick those yeast back into suspension and make the whole thing cloudy.
It depends on how you like to drink one of those. So what I'll usually do is I'll pour the beginning. I'll drink about half of it, get the top flavor, and then do the swirl and get like a really nice.
You could always just buy a Crystal Weiss, which is it's the same beer, but it's crystal clear.
It is.
Yeah.
No sediment.
Expect a prominent banana, clove, or even bubblegum flavored esters.
Yummy.
And man, bubblegum shouldn't fit in beer, but when you find a Hefeweizen with a nice bubblegum profile, that's good. That's really good. A little clove spice and bubblegum flavor, shoo, that's pretty tasty. We talked about needing about 50% wheat on that. Wheat and two-row malts, Pilsner malts would be appropriate. Pale malts would be appropriate.
Yeah.
But
6-row, maybe not. 6-row needs a little bit more diastatic power, right? It has less diastatic
6-row
power.
has more
It has
diastatic power. Absolutely. But there's enough diastatic potential in wheat to convert itself, so we're not worried about that one.
I got fucking what is it called?
It's like old man brain is what you got.
Old man brain.
Yeah. The yeast is definitely the star of the show, so you were looking for a Hefeweizens strain. White Labs WPLP 300, Yeast 3068. There's a Weinsteffen wheat WBO6. Those will be ester producing, low flocculating yeast strains that are going to give those banana flavors. Banana is probably the most recognizable flavor profile.
Yeah.
So if it tastes like bananas and you're drinking a Hef, it's okay. But if you taste the bananas in your IPA, you've got a problem. Esters, that's a fruit forward ester, the banana flavor. Esters generally get a bad name in brewing because most of us are pretty paranoid about them.
Yeah, but we want to hear.
Usually a function of warm temperature fermentations are going to produce more esters. All of your ale strains are going to be ester producers. That's not a scary word. You got to embrace some of that fruit forward. All your English ales are going to have more ester profile than your clean American versions. It's not scary. Just got to do it right.
Good.
These beers are also going to have low alpha noble hops in them. So I think 99% of the Hefeweizen recipes you're going to see are 50% two-row, 50% Pilsner malt, Hallertauer middle furrow hop, maybe 2 ounces all day in 5 gallons, and a Hef strain on the yeast. And every Hef is made pretty much the same way.
Can I use a Cascade in there?
I wouldn't be afraid to. Cascade's like
I wouldn't be afraid
it's
to.
It's the blue jeans of hops, man. Like it goes with everything.
I think it would kick it in the pants. Just
A little grapefruit and pine with your banana.
Yeah, I like it.
You didn't bring any with you, did you?
No, it's been a long time.
Sad face.
Been a long time, but I have some hops. No, I don't have any Cascade. There's Cascade 2 houses down.
There you go. Let's go. So what do you got for commercial examples? The Hefeweizen.
Well, we got the yeah. You want me to pronounce it?
Weinstefener.
Weinstefener.
Hefeweizbier.
Hefeweizbier. Polliner. Hefeweizbier. The Polliner Hefeweizbier. And the Franziskaner.
Franziskaner.
Hefeweizbier.
Hefeweizbier. All German examples, I see that. Locally, you can find, let's see, who's got, I remember like Red Hook had a Hefeweizen. That was pretty tasty. It didn't have the banana bomb profile. It was a little cleaner.
Red Hook.
Remember Red Hook out of Seattle? I know you're old. Come on.
I don't remember they had a Hefeweizen.
Oh, no, it was Widmer Brothers had the
Widmer
Hefeweizen.
Brothers is in Oregon.
My bad.
Widmer Brothers is in Oregon,
Yeah.
and Widmer Brothers has the little bit of the banana German esters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it wasn't as pronounced as
And
like a Weinstefener.
No, a little bit less,
Yeah.
kind of American, but the pyramid is probably what you're thinking about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pyramid
Hef.
Hefeweizen.
Yep, I can see that label now.
And that was kind of an American style Hefeweizen because it didn't have the banana flavor. It had the phenols, had the low hop, and the yeast, and non-flocculating yeast.
Yep.
So it was hazy.
Anacortes Brewery,
delicious.
Anacortes Brewing Company, they've got a Hef.
That was the staple.
That's pretty. They make a lot of that beer.
Pyramid. I'm so sad that Pyramid is gone.
Yeah.
I love their brewery. I used to frequent their brewery, and oh my gosh, drink their beer
Great
all the
facility.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. We've lost a lot of great breweries over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Weinstefener, you'll be able to find that in any well-provisioned bottle shop. They're gonna have that beer for sure. Year round, you'll be able to
Polliner, you're gonna have it half the year. Maybe.
I've not had the Franziskaner.
I've not seen the Franziskaner.
What do we got for stats on this beer?
Well, we've got an OG of 1042 to 1052.
Oh yeah, finishing out.
Yeah, attenuates down to 1010. through a 10-14, which is pretty good.
Low IBUs on this, 8 to 15.
Yeah, that's good. You need the low IBUs.
Yep.
You're not after
The yeast,
any bitterness or
yeast is the star of that show.
or
for
flavor.
Sure.
Yep, and then you're gonna have your little bit lower ABV, 4.3 possibly. I mean, you could ramp it up to 5-6
Easily.
I mean, you can even
Not
probably-
huge beers. You're going to drink a lot of them.
you're gonna do like a homebrew version of this. You could probably get it up to 6.
I wouldn't
you
be
know,
afraid.
No, I wouldn't be afraid, but you can't go too high because you don't want that alcohol to kind of take over.
These are and these are going to be light color beer. 2 to 6
Yeah.
SRM is our goal. We want blonde beer.
Yeah.
That's going to have we're looking at we've got a big banana flavor in
Yeah.
there. We might as well keep it yellow. Keep that beer yellow.
Keep it yellow. Well, we're not going to use any like specialty malts in this.
No, they're usually very simple.
Just simple grain.
Two
bill,
row and
just
wheat.
2 row and wheat.
Yeah.
Now, we don't use any other care pills or
No.
situated, nothing
No,
like that.
with the high protein in wheats, we're going to have all the mouthfeel building, soft mouthfeel and enough structure
Body.
from
in
the
there.
proteins. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to be good. So yeast selection, that's going to be your key takeaway. You got to
Yes.
find yourself a hef strain. We mentioned WLP 300 from White Labs, Yeast 3068,
Right.
WBO 6 from
And they will have different
Fermented.
flavor profiles.
So there'll be
I mean,
there'll be
like-
differences, yeah.
Like the Windermere versus the Pyramid.
Right, and there's
Versus
like an
Van
American
Stuyver.
there's some American wheat strains that are slightly cleaner.
Yeah.
But I see most of those in like your shock top kind of wheat
Yeah,
beers
now you're talking a wit.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking a Belgian wit.
without the spice character. So American
Not
wheat,
quite half.
yeah. Great stuff. The great kit for that 6th Street wheat with a 3068 yeast is available at Northwest Brewer Supply. Love that beer, very good. 3068 you can get if you got the temperature right. I think if you're on the low side of the range, you're gonna get a little more of that bubblegum character.
Well, yeah, you want
it's,
that.
it's pretty good.
Yes.
I like that one a lot. What's next on the list, Andrew?
Well, next on the list, we've got a Belgian Blonde. The
Mm.
Belgian Blonde Ale, BJCP, coming in at 25A.
Who doesn't love a blonde?
Oh, yeah. It's a moderately strong, smooth, slightly malty Belgian ale.
Did the Belgians make beers under 7%?
No. Why would they? It's got a mild yeast character, light fruitiness, and my favorite, a dry finish.
Crispy finishing
I
beer.
love it. I love it.
You're going to be looking for ingredients wise. You're going to be into Pilsner malts, German Pilsner or Belgian Pilsner. I mean, hey, when in Rome, got to do what the
So the
Romans do.
only Belgian girl I knew is, well, I think she's unnaturally sort of like a red, dark brown hair.
Turns out I'm not that picky. Yes, we can do it.
But no, I didn't know a Belgian blonde.
We had a Belgian exchange student in high school. She was not blonde. Absolutely stunning, gorgeous gal.
Lived in your house?
No, I
Oh
wish.
shit!
No,
was like,
in
damn,
high
man,
school we
lucky.
had a
Oh,
at
okay.
school, yeah.
Yeah, in the school.
Yeah,
No,
she was
I
Caroline.
thought yeah.
Caroline was fantastic, great human being. Not a blonde though. Not a
Oh,
blonde.
not a blonde.
What do we
And
got
she's from
for
Belgium.
We got key ingredients. We talked about the Pilsner malts, Belgian malts, Belgian candy sugar.
Sugar adjuncts.
Yeah. How do you get a dry finishing beer? You want the ABVs high, but you want it crisp and dry. Belgian candy sugar. It's a cooked sugar. Candy sugar just means they've cooked it, and then often it's either looks like rock candy or there's liquid versions.
Now, why do you want it cooked?
In the cooking process, the sugar molecule, the sucrose and glucose, split in half, kind of invert themselves and recombine. And in candy making, that's what allows us to get, at one temperature we've got fudge, it's kind of a loose gel, and at the other end of the temperature we've got like crisp caramel crystallized kind of sugars.
So we can't necessarily do that in our brew kettle.
No, because they're going to be cooked in isolation with sugar. So, but they're easily I've got bags of rock candy.
So you can't just add sugar.
Well, you can kind of fake it. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
but-
done that, and it's going to ferment out
A little
fully, but there's subtle differences to the degree that I could taste those differences.
I think I could taste it.
I would have to try a side by side or do a triangle test with those to be able to spot the weirdo.
Hey, anybody out there want to try to fool us?
Yeah,
We'll take beer.
you know.
We'll do a beer side by side.
Oh yeah, bring it on down to the studio. It'll be fun.
There.
It'll be fun.
That would be great.
Belgian yeast is going to be the star of the show.
Yep.
You know, if the English and American traditions are all hop, you know, generally hop forward.
Okay, we talked about
beers.
a Belgian saison. This is going to be just a Belgian yeast.
Yeah, those Belgian. It's all about the yeast in Belgium. The flavor profiles from the yeast
How many
are
different
the
Belgian
hallmarks of
styles
those.
of yeast do you carry?
Gosh, I've got Belgian Ardennes, Trappist High Gravity, Belgian Abbey 1 and 2. There's dry Belgian strains. There's a handful, 6 or 7 or so.
So what one are we
Different
going to use
Belgian.
for this?
I have liked to use white. My favorite one is White Yeast 3522, the Belgian Ardennes strain. I did a Belgian blonde competition in the Homebrew Club. Took first place on that with 3522. I also did a side by side, same, a split batch, so same mash, same boil,
different
with
yeasts.
1762. They were both really, really good beers.
Both Belgians?
Both
Yeah,
Belgian
okay.
strains, yeah. But the 3522 Belgian Ardennes, my favorite. That beer tasted.
What was the difference, you think?
The
Esters?
the ester profile was a little bit different. The Ardennes came out a little bit cleaner, but pronounced Belgian, but easier drinking kind of ester profile. It just had a crisper, cleaner, more balanced finish than the 1762 was good, but you were thinking about drinking the other one the whole time. And I did a lot. But they both placed well in the competition. I entered both of them. And that one, the 3522, is just my favorite, and I've used it several other times, and it's just a fantastic strain. Not funky at all, just like delicious fruit, fruit character.
Yum.
My favorite strain. Hops for Belgian Blonde. You are going to be into Saaz, Styrian Goldings, kind of English tradition or German noble tradition in a lot of those beers. But not a ton of them.
No.
Maybe 2 ounces in 5 gallons all day. Bittering charge in a late edition, just to round it out. Again, the star of the show is the yeast for those beers. In German beers, you got very, very malt forward beers. English and American tradition beers are going to be hop forward. The Belgians went the yeast route.
Yeast forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah,
Sounds
good stuff.
Good. Well, some commercial examples are
Leffe Blonde. That Leffe Blonde.
Blonde.
The version I won that blonde ale competition was a modified Leffe Blonde. I made mine a little bit lighter at like 6.5% because I didn't want a 7% beer hanging around the shop for too long. If I drink too many of them, then I don't get a lot of work done.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Well, you can get them. You can
Yeah.
get it down to 6.
Yeah, they had the
Fits
Leffe
style.
Blonde. I can't remember how it's a boozier one.
Yeah, probably 7.5.
Really fucking good though.
Get
It's
yourself one.
Yeah, that's a go right now.
Right, then we got a La Trappe Blonde.
The Trap Blonde, yeah. So the Trappist the Trappist Abbey beers, they've been making that
Yeah.
beer for centuries.
And Blonde.
Affligem, I'm fucking that name up for sure. Don't sue me.
A Flame.
Yeah.
A Flame.
Yeah,
Maybe that's my best. That's my best try.
it's a fantastic. We'll take it. We'll take it.
It's Affligem. 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 Affligem.
Not in my wheelhouse.
Affligem.
Yeah.
Blonde. Who knows?
Vital stats for the beer. You're looking at.
It's not a vocabulary
You're,
show.
you're shooting for starting gravity, 1062 to 1075.
Yep.
Um,
Continuing down to 10.8 to 10.18.
so pretty dry to moderately sweet.
Yeah, a little bit sweet.
Yeah, IBU range. What do you got on that one?
15 to 30.
Oh, easy stuff.
Low.
Yeah.
To medium.
Low to moderate. Yeah.
Yep, low to moderate.
ABVs 6 to
Anywhere in
7.5%.
You can do them low like you want.
or higher at 8%. Like
Pound it out.
Pound out the blondes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Pound out that blonde with an SRM of 4 to 7.
Yeah, so definitely in that blonde range.
That's blondie. Love it.
Takeaways for homebrewers.
Your proper yeast management is critical.
Yep, keeping the yeast healthy and happy at the right temperature. You can ferment cool to high on depending on the strain of yeast. So check your strain.
It depends on how much, how many fruity esters you want in there.
Right, at the warmer temperatures, you're going to have more fruity esters, but some of those Belgian strains are happy to go up to 74 degrees.